This isn't going to be a fun video.
I think you got that backwards, pal, because I've got my popcorn ready for the spurg out. Oh, and a cup of tears to drink later.
I don't know, Jesus. This might be his only valid point.
And yes, I know that this isn't the first time that I made a video like this, but each and every time that I do, I think that it's going to be the last time that I have to do this. Although, this time around, I'm fairly certain that this isn't going to be the last time either.
I mean, it could be the last time. You could just circumvent all the quote-unquote hate speech and just use this video as a response to other people that give you a hard time.
Events over the past few months have pushed me and those I care about into a place where making such a video like this is inevitable. I'm going to talk about the internet harassment that I and people I know have been receiving. And I will be mentioning people by name. Call them trolls, haters, idiots, aggressive critics, might hate them, I don't care. This is at a place where it needs to stop. Back in 2014, I made an editable animation on the Shane Kozen poem Troll, and in it, I said some things that people found contentious. The most infamous statement within was that I believed that trolls and cyberbullies were the same thing. Do I still believe that? I'll let you come to your own conclusion by the end of this video.
I'm going to assume it's a yes. Just a guess, though.
I mean, back then, I probably didn't have much of a leg to stand on with that opinion. Back then, my biggest troll or hater or whatever was, what, Clay Claymore?
What? No mention of me? You know, like, don't you remember me? Like, the Brit fag JesusWithBazookaz79 who used to make live stream commentaries on MrEnter and O3 Be Good? No? Like, fuck you, MrEnter, it's all your fault.
He was, or is, a person who decided that someone spending their internet life on animation was so pathetic that he needed to dedicate his internet life to bitching about people who bitch about animation.
There's no such thing as an internet life. You only get one life that's pretty much non-existent. It's called going outside and hanging out with friends. Like, maybe you should try it sometime instead of wasting it here.
He originally talked about Ben the Looney, but as I got more well-known, he switched to talking about me, and was probably where my first few waves of trolls came from. And Clay Claymore is one of those trolls who, yeah, the old adage of don't feed the trolls kind of worked. But in all honesty, I find Clay Claymore funny. Like, an adorable child kind of way. Especially in hindsight. He talks himself up so much. He was so better than me because he had a real job and a girlfriend. Strange how my fake job allowed me to afford a microphone, something that he never bothered with.
And you've done very little to improve your mic quality. Good job, cunt. Like, honestly, even when your editor forgets to edit out the fucking cut-offs, you know that it's not looking good to the point that it's just completely embarrassing.
He found himself nestled within the hellhole known as the commentary community. And within that community, I was, maybe still am, a huge talking point. They'd make these repetitive as fuck videos complaining about my repetitive as fuck videos. About things like how I talked about SpongeBob or Teen Titans Go or whatever way too much, how my editing is shit, and how I insult writers, even if it's years after I stopped doing those things. Back when these were a lot more popular, both haters and fans incessantly asked me to do a response to these things, and to what end? Creating drama? I can't create drama within the commentary community because the commentary community is built on drama. Here's how that community works. People will flock to you because you're picking on a target that they don't like, but the second you either A, pick on a target that they do like, or you reveal yourself to have a flaw like, you know, a typical human being, they cannibalize each other. Clay Claymore was pretty popular in that circle, until he attacked Doug Walker, who was really well liked, you know, at the time. And then his community and his fan base turned on him, and they legit called him the next MrEnter, and used me as an insult towards him. And the people who made responses on Clay Claymore's video, the second that they reveal themselves to be a human being, they're gonna be the next Clay Claymore. That is their fate. It's going to happen to each and every one of them, whether they have anything to do with me or not. They either get as obsessive as the people they're commentating on, they're bad at hiding their own dirty laundry, or they just get bored. It doesn't matter if you're as small as Clay Claymore or if you're as big as Leafy is here. They all go away eventually.
Say what you want about MrEnter, but this dude actually has a point about the commentary community. Like, funnily enough, even Megadoop TV, aka Professor Cartoons, who's pretty much announced that he's leaving now, is now being called the next Clay Claymore by the cartoon and commentary community. Again, pretty much something I have said a few years ago about the CC. They're just a bunch of former Enter fans who are basically just as bad as MrEnter fans. Especially when Clay shits on Doug Walker, like, oh, now you've gone too far for shitting on my God, Lord and Savior. Unsubscribe! Like, you're now the next MrEnter? Wait, Megadoop TV used the word spurg. Fuck it, he's now the next Clay Claymore, I guess. So I can at least give props to MrEnter for pointing out this problem, even realizing that this commentary chain reaction is completely autistic.
Right off the bat, I love how many of them use my actual face in visuals like it means something. Like, Encyclopedia Dramatica has this thing where when you know someone's actual full name, Encyclopedia Dramatica calls this the power word, like it means something. Or like they're fucking Odysseus. The video that Turkey shows is from when I was talking about, or more or less riffing, a PSA made by Autism Speaks, an organization that seems to hate autistic people more than Kiwi Farms, which is impressive, especially because they have the front of a cherry.
Dude, you're honestly full of shit. More shit than Movie Bob's broken toilet, plus the remains of the chicken wings. And yes, I have saw his video on Autism Speaks. You know, it's funny how you say that Autism Speaks is an organization that loves demonizing people with autism, when it's actually demonizing autism itself.
And to autism I say,
I am a father,
a mother, a grandparent,
brother,
a sister.
We will spend every waking hour trying to weaken you.
We don't need sleep because we will not rest until you do.
Family can be much stronger than autism ever anticipated, and we will not be intimidated by you, nor will the love and strength of my community.
I am a parent riding towards you, and you can push me off this horse time and time again, but I will get up, climb back on, and ride on with the message.
Autism, you forget who we are. You forget who you are dealing with. You forget the spirit of mothers and daughters and fathers and sons.
We are
the United
Kingdom. The United States.
Our Argentina.
Well, something that you didn't show during your video. You clearly took the original commercial out of context, and so did your mentally retarded following. The whole point of the advert was to motivate parents to at least do something about their kids, like getting them help, therapy, etc. Instead of just watching your kid fuck everything up and continue to be retarded. But you would process that through your thick little skull now, wouldn't you, Enter? In all seriousness, grow the fuck up. No organisation like Autism Speaks would be against autistic people as you claim to be. Like, you're just a fucking idiot who's treating them as your typical Muslim grooming gang, killing off infidels and raping teenagers.
And if you are happily married, I will make sure that your marriage fails.
Oh, fuck off.
No, you fuck off, twat.
Oh, fuck off.
You fuck off back to the cave where you belong.
But beyond that, Turkey Tom is a child. Mentally or physically, I don't know, but he is a child.
And truth be told, I didn't even want to make this video, but oh wait, yes I did, because once again MrEnter has shown that he is an incompetent fool who has no idea what he's doing whatsoever.
Tit for tat, as you will.
Basically, he makes poorly done reviews of cartoons and steals jokes from infinitely more successful YouTubers in an effort to gain some notoriety of his own.
Says the guy who has stolen jokes and criticisms from Mars Reviews and Rebel Taxi verbatim.
Care to provide an example of this? No? Okay then.
Except, give Mars Reviews credit, he didn't insinuate that I was a pedophile.
Ah, good. A weird, lonely, socially inept man is going to be explaining what it is like to grow up like a little girl. Well, I guess their interest in My Little Pony and dating prepubescent boys will be one thing in common.
Multiple times.
Yo, I have a feeling that Enter's idea of a thank you video was him stripping down nude and sending people pictures of his little Johnny to the kids who pay money to see his show.
Turkey, considering that you sound like you're in high school, I'm going to explain this as reasonably as I can. People have both been killed and killed others over that exact accusation. And when you get out of high school, making claims like those, either in real life or even on the internet, can bite you in the ass. It's called slander, and you can be sued for it. I know that you're thinking that what you do on the internet has no consequences, but it does. By claiming that I'm a pedophile when I'm not, gives me the ability to sue you. I'm probably not going to do that, but when it comes down to it, I never thought that I'd make a video where I called out my trolls by name.
Enter. Stop. It was a joke. Mind you, a try-hardy one at best made by some teenager at that, but still, a fucking joke. Like, come on dude, like, nobody's gonna assume that you're actually a paedophile when they clearly don't show any proof of you being one. I don't think it works like that. But being a trait of his autism, little jokes like these fly way over their little autistic heads. But what am I expecting from the same person who has to tell his fanbase that he was being sarcastic twice?
This was one of the most stupid pieces of shit that I've ever seen. But you know, it's a children's cartoon, and this is the standard, so there's nothing wrong here. Hell, cartoons should be more like this and less like Adventure Time, Avatar, Steven Universe, the original Teen Titans. I was being sarcastic if you couldn't tell.
Were you really? Holy shit, I'm fucking mind blown. It's not like I couldn't read it in the first place. Like, thank you for letting me know that you are being sarcastic, man. Like, no, despite the fact that your fan base mainly consists of kids from the special ed class who wouldn't know how to go to the toilet properly.
Oh, fuck off.
Fuck off.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, you know what, Enter? Fuck you too.
With not even 300,000 subscribers, for someone who has never made an animation his entire life and has never shown that he is capable of producing one piece of good writing, either from his reviews, his atrocious book, or his somewhat pedophilic show concept, I feel like this is Enter sort of projecting, telling his audience preemptively that he's a creep or a horrible person of some kind before he gets outed for it by someone else. I mean, not saying he is necessarily, even though he has done some rather pedophilic illustrations in his past.
That is an absolute lie. I've drawn children, you know, fully clothed and going on non-sexual adventures.
Oh my fucking god, you cannot be fucking serious right now. This... Jesus Christ. Like, this literally proves my point of how much of a fucking mongoloid you really are. And how you cannot see the obvious joke right there. This isn't Big Mouth or South Park, but okay. But reading from his Growing Around book with a couple of friends, I found some very questionable things. I'll give you a hint. It's something to do with food, wet hair, and saliva inside the theatre. Sure, nothing weirdly suggestive or sexual at all with what's said here. Well, I mean, to be fair, he might have been drunk on lemonade whilst writing this.
But if that's what you consider pedophilic, we got some problems with the entire animation industry. Because we have, what, Hey Arnold, Kids Next Door, Rugrats? Oh my god, those are babies!
Now you're clearly on about something unrelated. It's called Daisy's Destruction, my friend. Look it up. Or better yet, to a better and closer extent.
Newborn! Porn! Newborn!
And you know what he said earlier about suing Turkey Tom? Aren't you doing the same exact thing that Digibro tried to do to Tom? Threatening to take him to court after he made a video on him about how he admitted to liking Lolicon apparently? Also, if you really are getting this salty over being called a paedophile by some 15 or 16-year-old, you know, try-hard spurg on the internet, then maybe I can assume that you are a paedophile. Let's look at it this way. No paedophile will be dumb enough to actually admit to being a paedophile. What comes off here is that you're getting so fucking defensive, like you're afraid that he's exposing you for writing paedophilic stories. It's like if you're actually fucking denial of being one. Come out, Bendeluni. We know it's you.
There's Fillmore, there's Recess. Do I even need to go on about this to show how ludicrous of an accusation this is? But I get it, you gotta be edgy if you want them views, and you want Senpai Mars or Rebel Taxi to notice you.
Why do you keep bringing these two up? Do you have this envy boner or some shit? I doubt Tom even knows who these two even are.
When I was a kid, maybe 11 years old or so, I had a dream that one day I would create a cartoon. So I would draw all these pictures and write out plots and scripts, and eventually when I bought a computer, I would do all these little test animations and things like that. It was a real dream of mine. But eventually I realized that I have no talent for animation, and I gave up. But animation just isn't what I was meant to do.
Well, that's good news. If Turkey Tom doesn't want to be a hypocrite, or at least he wants to be consistent, he's just gonna have to stop ranting, and he won't be a problem anymore. Because he's really shit at this. But if you want to go suck off Mars reviews some more, I'm not going to stop you.
Wow, what a loaded sentence we have here. Okay. First off, I myself am not a fan of Tom since most of what he says is just common sense and not very original in the slightest. But I would much rather sit through some teen talking about some shit user than a grown man crying about my tunes. Also, he won't be a problem anymore? Really? Oh man, all of these problematic people! Grow up. If you are this upset over some teenager, you should probably take your own advice and stop. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. And again, with the fucking Mars reviews mentioning, did he leave an imprint on the back of your tonsils or some shit? Like, holy fuck, why mention him all the time when it comes to criticisms? Besides, Mars probably made the best video about you anyway.
What you need to know about trolling is that it's not always about the reaction. Sometimes it's about the intrinsic pleasure of doing something that's naughty. Back when I was a dipshit and I insulted the writers of shows, do you really think that I cared how they would react? No, I didn't. There was never a possibility in my mind that they would react.
Wow, the fucking irony. Tom is a quote-unquote young dipshit like you were back when you constantly bitched about writers of SpongeBob, and he doesn't care who he talks about since he doesn't see you ever responding. Looks like karma's a bitch, dude. Sure sucks when the writer happens to be you, huh?
But the shit I have to deal with online isn't always trolls. There's someone who really doesn't like me. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is,